What's going on, everybody? It's your boy D from DNC Digital back with another episode of DNC Radio. My guest today is Corey Martin Craig. Corey Martin Craig is an up-and-coming actor, but he's already done stuff. He's already done a bunch of crap. You've seen him on Grey's Anatomy, Shameless, Superstore, Henry Danger, and even the new version of all that, all the way from, well, I'm gonna say he's in LA right now, but I'm gonna say he's Lincoln, Nebraska's favorite son, Mr. Corey Martin Craig. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be on DNC Digital. I appreciate it, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate your time, man. So yeah, it's you have a lot of cool stuff going on. But I did read that you had an interesting childhood. So you probably hold the record, I want to say, for most suspensions with the number. You're in double digits, and you're in a hell of a double digit. You got suspended 30 times. Now, thankfully you've turned all of that around, because we'll get into that later, how you learned to channel all of that into a great career you have now. But why do you think that you were acting out as a kid?
I mean, I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska, right? So it's that Midwest life where it's, you either work on a farm or you want to be just like your dad. And for me, my dad died when I was 6. So I just had this anger inside of me, and I kind of masked my pain with humor. Comedy is tragedy. So that was my thing. And then they gave me medication to try to settle me down, and all that did was make me fat. So I went from the troublemaker to the fat troublemaker. And so just everything,
it's a double whammy, man.
It just ballooned and ballooned and ballooned, man. So I struggled, man, and comedy was my outlet.
Yeah, tell me about your drama teacher who it was really cool. Mr. I want to pronounce it correctly. How do you pronounce his name?
Mr. Hoffert was my middle school drama teacher, and I got suspended I almost got, sorry, I was used to getting suspended, but I was in his class the first day, and it was like an
you
improv.
Were used to getting suspended.
I was. Well, and that 30 doesn't even count the in-school suspensions. One day, the ISS teacher nicknamed the room Corey's room because I was there all the time.
You're the man, bro.
I know. It's fun to look back on it now, because people look at me now and they're like, you got suspended? I'm like, I promise you.
So tell me how instrumental your drama teacher was throughout all this.
It changed my life, because normally I was used to getting in trouble. And then that first day we did an improv, and he's like, hey, who wants to do an improv? I was like, I don't know what improv is, but down. Because it wasn't math class. And
right.
He goes, I need 4 volunteers. And I was the first one up, and he goes, okay, great. You're going to be the drill sergeant, and all these other 3 over here are going to be your soldiers. And I was like, down. And I just started cussing up a storm, because I just went into this free fall mode, because he was like, yo, you're just going to do whatever you want. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, go. And I was like, all right, mother, let's go. And I just went, and all my classmates just go, what are you doing? And I was like, oh no. And so I started to go to leave, and he goes, Corey, where are you going? I was like, to the principal. I know how this works. And he goes,
I know how this works. I'll see you guys Tuesday. It's all right.
Yep, I got a withstanding appointment. And I just remember he showed us movies, and I was always the first one there and the last one to leave. And, it was one of those things where I went, this is my escape. And it made me happy for the first time. And it gave me some type of excitement and value and worth for who I was.
You were invited to go back and talk to his class. That must have felt like a full circle type of deal. What was 100%. That like? And what was the reception with the students?
Well, one, they were like, oh my gosh, you're out there. Do you know this person? Do you know that person? Can you tell this person hi? Can you get me in this thing? Also, can you start on my YouTube channel?
They're all like, wait, I'm here. You can ask me for an autograph. I can take a picture with you.
Yeah. It was, because truthfully, not only did I get to go back and speak, but there was an organization there. Tom Osborne is a legendary football coach there, and he created Teammates, which is a mentoring program. And because of that, I was able to speak and do a lot of other ventures as well, and give a TED talk back in Lincoln. So all that to say, to be able to go back and speak and go back to where the root of all of my pain was, because I don't have the greatest love for Lincoln. It was my pain. It is the reason why I am today, but I don't love that, because it hurt. It hurt more than anything. The people that made fun of me, everything that happened there. So I was able to go back and full circle, give it back. And that allowed me to heal.
I may be jumping the gun here, but since we're on this topic, talk to me about Troublemaker Foundation and what you try to do for kids.
So that just organically happened. Going back to my teammate, his name was Bill Orr, and he, was just this incredible man. And he unfortunately passed away a number of years ago. And because of that, I went and spoke at those schools that I was, the Robin Mickle Middle School, Lincoln Northeast High School, gave those talks. And these kids were like, yo, I need you to continue to inspire me. And I'm a firm believer that like pain knows pain. So when you go and speak, you know who needs that extra love or who needs that, hey man, you can do it, because that's all I think some of us need is that permission. And some of us don't know that we can give ourselves permission. So for me, Troublemaker was founded in the idea that if you can set goals and you can have that accountability, like weekly check-ins and that permission that you can do it, that's what it is. So I've traveled the country, given motivational seminars to many schools, colleges, and foundations as well, because I think especially now, especially in this digital age, anybody can do anything they want, and that's what Troublemaker has been. And again, in a way, by me going to speak, it's allowed me to heal as well, because again, all this comedy came from tragedy.
Your talk center around three subjects, and if you can elaborate, if anybody's listening, if they can get anything out of it, why do you think acceptance, empowerment, and achievement are the most important in a teenager's life?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know about your teenage life, but I think for us, when we're going through all of puberty and trying to find out who you are as a person and how do you apply for college. I didn't even know how to apply for college, man. That's, what I mean? Like there were so many things.
The same deal. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
And then they were like, it's $50 to apply. And I was like, no, thank you. I can't do that.
Mine was like $100. I'm like, wait, just for the piece of, I just want to apply. Like,
just confirm. I'm giving you $100 just so I get a piece of paper that says no, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? Like what? And so for me, a lot of us struggle. And I genuinely think that now more than ever, like, man, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, AIM was that thing, AOL Instant Messenger. And like, nobody was my friend on AIM. So I could only imagine trying to have friends on Instagram or this and that. So there's so many things that kids just are made, the adrenaline of, oh man, did somebody like my post? Did I get over 100? Like, so all that being said is I really feel that it's important that we love ourselves as we are first, because that's like the basis of a foundation. If you're building a house, that foundation to me is acceptance. You got to love who you are. The empower is in a sense like me leading by example, because I know that when you are going up the mountain, you don't really want to be by yourself at the top. You want to be with those friends that encourage and inspire you.
The ones that help you up the mountain.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you get to the top, it's going to be a lonely place, but if you go there together and you put that good energy out, I really feel that it's going to reciprocate. And that's the achievement, is if you do it together and you do it from a good place, that's where it's all about. The achievement is knowing that set goals and then set higher ones and keep working towards it. And so those are my, in a sense, 3 principles of how I approach life.
You were able to get a job at Warner Brothers Studio as an intern. What was one thing that you felt that you didn't prepare for going into that job?
So that's a great question. I worked in the procurement department, which straight out of high school, procurement. Yes. It's where every department, so every show has a P card. So each credit card is called a P card and it's given to each show. Right.
Okay.
And so I was the one that had to go through and audit and make sure that this number matched this number. And so let me back up too. To get that job, we had the HR rep of Warner Brothers come to my high school, LA County High School for the Arts, and said, any one of you that emails me will get an internship. And I emailed and emailed and emailed and emailed and emailed. And finally I got the job. They're like, hey, do you want to be a P card? So I did P card. Horrible, man. It was the stack was this big when I started. When I left that summer, it was bigger. Like it was.
Like how the hell did I do that?
Dude, I took 3-hour lunches, man. Because I wanted to network. So for me, it was a blessing in disguise, because if I wasn't something I loved, like I would probably, enjoy it. I hated that job so much. I just extended and I kept meeting people. So for me, I guess the biggest thing was learning that I guess anything's possible. Because I mean, I walked around that whole summer just like, like just everything. So again, going back to the goals, like that's where it was. Anyhow, I don't know if that made sense.
No, it's all right. Because I mean, you're coming from Lincoln, Nebraska, the home of corn, football, and Billy Ray Cyrus. So I mean, when you got accepted into the LA High School of Arts, what was your biggest culture shock coming from Nebraska to LA?
Everything, man. I mean, I went from, pretty much you kind of know the same people. I mean, Lincoln's of like, I don't know, 300,000 people, but where I was from, it was Havelock. So like this little tiny neck of that area. And I was just amazed by everything. I remember getting on the 10 and I was like, where is Rosemead Boulevard? Because I lived in Rosemead to go straight away. I couldn't figure it out. I was, I do remember this. The biggest culture was the sunshine. I remember at the time my high school was on Cal State LA, and the staircase to get up was so steep. You'd park at the bottom and walk like this, I don't know, 10-story like staircase all the way to get up there.
The stairs that Ace Ventura did in When Nature Calls. Remember those?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly those. You slide down at the end of the day and you walk up. But I just remember the sun. Everything was that. I just learned a lot. In all honesty, I think it was more of the culture shock of acceptance, honestly, because you're in Nebraska, it's this way or that way, and you come out here and it's like, man, there's so many beautiful cultures, there's so many beautiful people, and that was something that I wasn't accustomed to.
You've also done some stand-up comedy, and I've also done some stand-up comedy. There's a layer of that people don't understand. What do you think about when you're in the club, when you're with other comics, and there is a very fine line between competitiveness and supportiveness? Because it's like, I'm happy for him, but I'm sad for me, but now I have to like kill it. Like I have to follow that and kill it and make sure whatever scouts are here are looking at me rather than him.
Yeah. 100%. Everybody wants the call. Everyone's like, oh, good work. And then they go in the green room and they're like, screw that guy. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's definitely feels like high school because there's not a lot of people. The pool of comics is not that big, And for me, I really didn't want to go on the road and like travel crazy. So I luckily don't have that same competitive edge for that. But I do see the energy. I don't know, man. I think it makes it a lot easier when you're all about doing it for fun because it's very cliquey, 100%.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I know that. I mean, there were times that they're like, hey, I mean, I wasn't in the world as deep as others, but I'm in South Texas now, and they were like, oh, you're from Jersey? Yeah, go ahead and go up there. And I was like, yeah, okay. So my first set was just making fun of everybody from South Texas, and I was killing it. And they're like, hey, come to our writers meeting. I was like, fuck's a writers meeting? He's like, oh, we would just check on each other's jokes. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, no, it's okay. And I was like, that just sounds strange to me, but it definitely got cliquey. If I just refused to go to that thing that night. And then it was like, I was an outsider. And then it was a strange thing. But your stand-up comedy, it doesn't stop there. You worked on a certain favorite of mine, his certain stand-up comic who had a show, John Mulaney. And I want to start first with your story about Martin Short, because you got to at least be in the same scene of him. But after the cameras rolled, I saw a cool story on your Instagram. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about that?
Yeah, so normally on a sitcom, you're in a sound stage, right? You got the cool air blasting on you because you got to keep the actors from sweating so the makeup doesn't run off. And that way, keep the audience cool as well, mainly for the makeup. Regardless, we were outside. The sun was blaring down on us. Like we were all sweating. And we were probably out there for a good few hours to get this scene. And Martin was great, come up and introduce himself to me, and we kind of had some banter. I was like the main military guy screaming some suggestions for him. But the thing that I noticed, and this has happened before as well on Major Crimes with Raymond Cruz, who did the exact same thing. You can tell when somebody really, in a sense, remember Pain Knows Pain? Like, you can tell when somebody needs something, right? Mm-hmm. And this extra was older gentlemen, I would guess probably like mid to late 60s, you know, just all kinds of men in the atmosphere, the audience. And you could just tell he wanted to see Martin Short. And Martin Short was on the stage just hot, sweating, and we get done. He could go back inside just like everybody else, but he saw this guy and he went over to him and he introduced himself. And this guy was literally almost in tears. And he goes, I loved you in this. And he named every single sketch that he loved. And Martin just lit up, and they talked for easily 10 minutes. And that just taught me gratitude. Martin didn't even need to do Mulaney to like
He's
really
Martin Short. Like,
yeah. And he went and made this dude's day. And I promise you, it wasn't even his day. It was probably his lifetime, you know, because if that's your idol, you know, that's really where you get touched and you give yourself permission. I can do anything, just like Martin Short.
Hell yeah.
And it was just one of those beautiful moments where you go, that's a class act. And when I get there, I'm going to have the exact same feeling and philosophy, and make sure that you pass that energy on.
How important are things like that to see those things? Because, you know, everybody says, no, I'm not gonna change. And then, you know, you hear bad stories about, you know, some celebrities. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they just don't feel like it. But I mean, even so, there are some stories about some celebrities. How do you keep yourself grounded as somebody in the entertainment business? You say you're gonna get there, you're gonna feel the same way, but how important is that to see somebody like Martin Short be that cool to somebody, to make sure that you're grounded when you get to that level?
It's incredible. It's incredible. I've seen it done for Martin Short. Again, Raymond Cruz, like when we were shooting Major Crimes, he went over to an extra and he was like, what are you doing in acting class? Do you want to be in my position? What are you doing? And like, he literally talked with them and just had that same philosophy. Adam Sandler did that for me on a basketball court, like number of times at Warner Brothers. Like, dude, the first time I met him, I just burst into tears afterwards. You know what I mean?
My girlfriend's going to listen to this, and she loves Adam Sandler, so we got a little bit of time. Go ahead and give me your Adam Sandler story.
Okay, so this is my Adam Sandler story. I was at Warner Brothers on that internship. It was the internship after my first one. Do you remember how I had my 3-hour lunches? Like, I literally parlayed it into, I'm not leaving this studio. You're not kicking me out. So I was working for a different production company, and the gym was like my besties because I was always over there trying to meet people and make friends. And that gym is how I got to my next internship.
Okay.
So they called me and they go, that was another story. Forgive me. That was afterwards. They would call me and let me know Adam was there after the fact. But the first time I met him, I just had my wisdom teeth taken out. And I was the fat kid, right? So I always am like, I have to work out every single day. I don't care. So I'm in there doing chest flies. I'm not kidding you. And like, dude, my mouth is hurting. And the way WB gym is set up is there's weights on the first floor, and second floor, it's like a area for aerobics. And so in the mirror, I could see this guy going crazy on the elliptical. And I was like, forget this guy. He's making me so mad. Just rah, 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 rah. And I was doing my flies, you know, like that. And then,
well, you need a spot.
Right. And Adam's notoriously like loves basketball. And so this guy comes in and goes, yo, you want to play? And he goes, yeah, I'll be right down. And he comes down the stairs and I look over and I was like, get that jerk. Oh my God, it's Adam Sandler. And I was like, what? And bro, I'm not kidding you. He goes outside, starts playing with this guy. And I go, I got one chance for this ever to happen again. So I go grab a basketball and he's on the far court. I'm on the near court. And the basketball court is like it used to be a tennis court, but George Clooney converted it. So it's like this truncated basketball court. And I'm not kidding you. I was dribbling, and like each dribble, like blood was coming out of my mouth. I was like, gosh, man, this is terrible. And I'm not kidding you. I turn and I look, and the guy he's playing with trips and sprains his ankle. And so he couldn't play anymore. And Adam turns to me and goes, hey buddy, do you want to play? And I was like, basketball. You know what I mean? Like, what?
Basketball.
And he comes over to me and goes, hey, right? And he goes, hey, I'm Adam Sandler. And I was like, hey, I'm no shit, dude. Like, I know exactly who you are. And he played with me and I let him win. He's good. And,
okay.
But no, he came over to me, like, even in the gym the next few days, and he just pat me on the back. What's up, dude? And I was like, I'm never washing that. You know what I mean? Like, that type of thing. But that motivation is, I think, what everybody needs, especially at the top.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's just like the Martin Short story. One scene that I saw was so dope. You were in Pee-wee's Big Holiday, and you were face to face with Pee-wee Herman, and you even got to yell at him as your character. Any cool little story that you can, I mean, I know we don't have too much time, but any interaction you had with him?
Paul Reubens is incredible. That was one of those things where fate just kind of aligned, because I have to give a huge shout out to the casting director, Vicky Thomas, because I went in there and I read the sides, and on the very last line, I gave some attitude to it. What you see in the script
Put a little Lincoln in there. Put a little Lincoln in there.
Yeah, exactly. Stinking Lincoln, man. I put that swagger.
Stinking Lincoln swagger.
Give me that 30 suspensions. And I leave, and Vicky Thomas runs out. She goes, come back in here, do it all that way. And I had so much attitude that Paul Reubens laughed so hard that he brought me in, and he told me this, but that's not my favorite part about Paul Reubens. Paul Reubens is so giving. I've noticed this about so many actors that have hit their stride. You know, like, they're at the pinnacle. They don't have to prove anything else. So there's no pressure on him. He's so giving. So he made it so fun, was so warm. And then here's my favorite part. Paul Reubens gets your birthday and your address. So every holiday season, you get a holiday card, you get birthday texts every single year, and then like random things throughout the year. Also, he is just the coolest dude. Like, he pays it forward, and you feel part of this community, this Pee-wee's world, you know, like that he created.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I had the I'm sorry, I had the honor of interviewing Townsend Coleman, who played the original Michelangelo in Ninja Turtles. When he said okay, I started sweating. We were in person, and I started sweating. He goes, you okay? I'm like, no, because you have no idea who you are for me. And afterwards, he just enjoyed the interview. He did the podcast, and like, he sends me a thing on Facebook for my birthday, and I screenshotted the hell out of that thing. And I'm like, who has Michelangelo sending them a happy birthday wish? I mean, these experiences, and it's definitely empowering, like you said. It does lift you up a little bit for the day, because you have somebody who's pretty much a hero in the field that you're doing, and now you're just moving forward. Talking about moving forward, I want to go back to this cool thing, the Book Pal Foundation. You go out and you read to kids, and
obviously
talk about why. I mean, we already know why you want to give back to the youth so much, but it's just cool that you do that. It's so cool. And you know, you go back and you read to kids. What was your favorite book that you read to them? You do a little bit of Cat in the Hat, or you do some
it was
Charles
always
Dickens?
For the kids. So I'd read to kindergartners and I'd read to like fourth graders, and that's because I had a little kid living underneath of me, like apartment wise, and he got picked on, and he was always really quiet. And so I was like, I want to come to your class. And so I figured that out, and that's why I started reading, and his confidence kind of grew. But for them, man, they always wanted to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Always.
Oh, like, that's a good one, man.
I know, but like over and over again. Yeah, now read this one, read that one. I was like, can we read anything else? And they're like, no. And then for the kids, I hated reading the kid books because sometimes I wouldn't pronounce a word, and they would like make fun of me. Like, I remember one time reading a spider book, and one of these kindergartners was like, it's arachnid. And I was like, oh my goodness, like, I don't know spiders, forgive me. You know what I mean? Like, that type of thing.
So you were on that episode of Mulaney, and one question I forgot to ask is that, you know, John Mulaney has recently just seeked help because he needed some help, which is admirable in the fact that he did it himself. Can you talk about the anxiety and pressure? Because John Mulaney is a very unassuming man that you would think that, you know, he had any kind of issues with anything. Can you talk about the anxiety and pressure of being an actor in Hollywood?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know John's specific story, and I wish him all the best, but I do think specifically for him, you know, shows upon shows. Like, it's not just an actor for him. He's writing, he's doing all these incredible creations, and it does put a lot of pressure, because what ends up happening is, I don't think people realize how many people are involved with a shoot, a show or a movie. Hundreds of thousands, you know what I mean? Like, hundreds of people are involved with one show, you know? And so sometimes thousands, like, from the network. So there's a lot of pressure to make it right. And also for people to watch it. There's so much content out there right now. So I think for me, again, going back to that empower, it's putting yourself and surrounding yourself with good people, because they'll hopefully keep you in check and also let you know it's okay. Like, for me, I'm really big this year on meditation to make sure I get that in. Like, I try to work out my brain as much as I do the body, because if not, woo,
that stuff is trippy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You also did a lot of directing, and one in particular, you directed Normal Behavior, Sam Conroe's comedy special. What was it about him that gravitated you toward him to work on his special?
Well, Sam and I started stand up at the Ice House like almost the same time. And, it was just one of those opportunities where I was like, let me direct your special. And I put my team together and it worked out really well. And he's gone on to incredible things. And I just think, for me personally, if you do a stand-up comedy special, it has to, like, when you direct one, it has to match the comic's energy. You know what I mean? So Sam's is one thing. Nicole Birch, I directed her special as well, and it's a little bit different. There's always a different flavor. So I just like to work with, in a sense, good people, and put that energy out there. Like, who doesn't like to laugh? And for me, if I don't want to go on the road, I want to be able to direct, and I want to say, this is how we feel what you're trying to make your audiences feel. And so let me figure out the camera angle and have some fun with that. So that was just like a thing where I was like, Sam, let me do it. He said, great. And we put it together, and it was a huge success.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time. What do we expect from Mr. Corey Martin Craig through 2021?
This is gonna be my best year yet, man. I really feel that. I love, paying it forward and like working with kids and coaching them. And I think myself as well. Like, I'm gonna get some big acting roles this year, directing and putting it forward, and hopefully, in the future, keeping up with the DNC digital, and,
Hell yeah,
putting
bro.
We're brothers.
Out there. I'm gonna crash at your place, bro. You're gonna take me out. Sunset Boulevard, wherever the hell. And you know what? I'm going to put you on a spot. I'm just going to, you know what? I'll pay for my plane ticket. You just put me in one of your movies. That's it. I'll pay for the ticket. I'll pay for the plane ticket. I'll stay at a little seedy motel. It's fine, bro. If you want to catch Corey Martin Craig, check it out. Hey, if you guys want a good comedy coach, go to coolbeanscomedy.com. Corey, where can they find you on social media, sir?
At Corey Martin Craig, and then Cool Beans Comedy, at Cool Beans Comedy as well.
Hey, can we? I don't know if it's all good, but I also read that your grandmother's she done some fishing.
Yeah.
So I think I want to have that adventure also.
Sounds good. The fishing, sure. Yeah, yeah. She was a tough one. She was good.
Awesome. That is Corey Martin Craig, guys. All the links are in the description. This is D. You can find me at DNC Digital on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Everybody have a great night and take care of yourselves. Okay, cool. Would you? I know you got to go. Absolutely. Would you mind just doing Corey Martin Craig and subscribe to DNC Digital?
Hey, I'm Corey Martin Craig. Make sure to subscribe to DNC Digital, the best place to find the next. I don't know. Let me do that again.
I was like, oh, I gotta hear this. You're gonna put me over. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Corey Martin Craig. Make sure to check out DNC Digital. This is the best place to find the next up and coming celebrities, entertainers, and all of the above. Don't want to miss it. Subscribe now. Seriously, I'm coming for you. Let me know.